Almost there. Just a second, I'm just reminding again. That, Hare Krishna again. We'll start with the prayers. Prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunvitamiena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanaswami Namane Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashad Deshatarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Nandayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Mishwaram Om Apavitra Pavitrova Sarva Vasanta Kutyo Esmare Pundavikaksham Savyadyantaram Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu. So we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 8th chapter. Okay. So I'm gonna find out the verse since it's been 3-4 days. Just I need 1 minute to find out in our channel. I'm finding out the verse. Just a minute. CC Madhya 8. Thank you for waiting, devotees. I'm trying to find actually program. Couldn't make it in the group that day. Continue, my dear son. Kunti. Okay. Eight.
It's 62 అనుకుంటా.
I'm just checking them. Okay. Almost there.
ఎక్స్టర్నల్ రీజన్ కాదు, నాకు ఇంటర్నల్ రీజన్ కావాలంటాడు కదా.
Yeah, I'm just finding out. Ramananda Raya. Right. Ramananda Raya continued, my dear son of Kunti. That is the verse. Text 60. We got it. Thank you very much, please, for waiting. I'm just sharing now. Let us do this. Let us chant this one. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Please do.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Gaura.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya
Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Go ahead, Jain Mataji.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna
Hare
Chaitanya.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Very good. Thank you, Mataji. So we'll start. With you only you start, okay? Sandhya Mataji, CC Madhya. This is last Wednesday last class. Thursday, Friday, you all and here also we all celebrated Janmashtami and Srila Prabhupada appearance day, the Thursday and Friday. And yesterday, since Ekadasi, we didn't connect. And now today also I was thinking to cancel, but Lavanya mentioned that whoever not read, whoever not going, they can read now. So that's the idea is good. Thank you, Lavanya. We will read. We will continue our sale. So this is the point. Yeah. Now 61. Okay. So where are we? What chapter we are in? Madhya Lila, chapter 8. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 8. Chapter 8, conversation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. Very intimate pastimes and discussions here. Talks between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. So chain Mataji, Sandhya Mataji. 2 verses chain, okay? We will look like that.
Yes, Prabhuji. Same meter, Prabhuji.
हाँ, प्रभु का ये हो बाह्य आगे काया आराम.
प्रभु का है ए हो बाह्या आगे कहा आरा राया का है स्वधर्म त्यागा ए साध्या सारा. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. This is also external. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, please proceed and speak further on this matter. Ramananda Raya replied, to give up one's occupational duties in the Varnashrama system is the essence of perfection. Purport. A Brahmana may renounce his family and accept sannyasa. Others, Kshatriya and Vaishyas, may also give up their families and take to Krishna consciousness. Such renunciation is called karma tyaga. By such renunciation, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is satisfied. In contrast, the process of renouncing the results of one's activities by offering these results to Krishna is not considered uncontaminated, because although such a process implies that one recognizes Krishna as Supreme Person, it still involves one in activities on the material platform. Since such activities are within the material universe, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered them external. To correct this, Ramananda Raya recommended that one take to renounced order of life in order to transcend material activities. This is supported by the following verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.11.32.
Yes, Mataji. I'm just finding out what exactly that was. Oh, 11, 29 to 32. Okay. Okay. Last verse. Ajñāyaivam gunandoshan mayadhisthanapi swakan dharman santajya yas sarvan mam bhajeta satu sattamaha. Last verse. What is saying here? This one, I think. He perfectly understands that the ordinary religious duties prescribed by me in various Vedic scriptures possesses favorable qualities that purify the performer, and he knows that neglect of such duties constitutes a discrepancy in one's life. Having taken complete shelter at my lotus feet, however, a saintly person ultimately renounces such ordinary religious duties and worship me alone. He is thus considered to be the best among living entities. That's the thing. What the verse saying, Ramandra, to give up one's occupational duties in Varnashram system is the essence of perfection. Some Siddhir Haritoshnam, whatever we do, whatever situated, social order and spiritual order, wherever we are, this one is there, no? Mood. I'm not a Brahmana, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya, I'm not a Shudra. Then I'm not Brahmana also, I'm not a Kshatriya also, I'm not a Vaishya also, I'm not a Shudra also, I'm not a Brahmachari, I'm not a Grihastha, I'm not a Vanaprastha, I'm not Sannyasi. Then what? Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur Dasa. Surrendering to Krishna, serving him with love. That's the thing. And here also to give up one's occupational duties in Varnashrama system is the essence of perfection. Such renunciation is called karma tyaga. Satisfied. Completely, I mean, basically, this one also there. Gruhetako, Vanitako, Sadhari Boletako. Wherever we are, of course, wherever we are situated, Grihastha Dharma, or Brahmachari, or Sannyasi, or Vanaprastha, wherever situated, or whatever ashram, whatever Varnashram, Varna and ashram, Varna and ashrams, social order and spiritual order, whatever there, but some Siddhir Haritoshana and performing devotion service wherever we are. Duhe Tako and Vane Tako, Sadahari Bole Tako. Yes. Second one also do Mataji. Run Jeddam. Sandhya
Agnaya Agnayavim gunan doshan maya dishtana piswakan dharman santyachayah sarvan mam bhajet sachas sattamaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ramananda Rai continued, occupational duties are described in the religious scriptures. If one analyzes them, he can fully understand their qualities and faults and then give them up completely to render service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a person is considered a first-class man.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Vani Mataji.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam, Mataji. This verse, Bhagavad Gita. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami remembering some important verses in connection with, these are actually these are written, this is a conversation between Ramananda Rai and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes, this from Bhagavad Gita. Okay, read one.
Yeah. Sarvadharmam parityaje mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshasmi ma suchaha. Translation. As stated in scripture, Bhagavad Gita 18.66, after giving up all kinds of religious and occupational duties, if you want to come to me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and take shelter, I will give you protection from all of life's sinful reactions. Do not worry. Purport. In this connection, Sri Raghunatha Dasa Goswami instructs in his book, Mana Siksha. Na dharma na suti. Prabhuji, din kelaga.
Yeah, Chaitanya Charitamrita middle name.
Okay.
Na dharmam shruti gana niruktam kila kuru vraje radha Krishna prachura paricharyam ihatanu. Change it.
Okay. Na dharman suti gana nirkutam kila kuru vraje radha Krishna prachara parichayam ihatanu. He has thus enjoined that we should not perform religious activities as prescribed in the Vedas. The best course is to engage always in the service of Lord Krishna and Radharani. That is the perfection of everything in this life. Similarly, in Srimad Bhagavatam 4.29.46, it is stated by Narada Muni. Yada yada yasyadka yada ఒక్క నిమిషం ప్రభుజీ यदा यस्य अनुग्रहन्ति भगवान् आत्मभावितः स जहाति मतिं लोके वेदे च परिनिष्ठितम्. When one actually takes to the loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he gives up all duties in the material world as well as all duties prescribed by the Vedic literatures. In this way, one is fixed in the service of the Lord.
Very good. Good job.
प्रभु कहे एहे भाया आगे कहा आरा राया कहे जन्म ज्ञान मिश्रा भक्ति सदाया सारा. Translation. After hearing Ramananda Raya speak in this way, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again rejected his statement and said, "Go ahead and say something more." Purport. Ramananda Raya then replied, "Devotional service mixed with empiric knowledge is the essence of perfection. Devotional service mixed with non-Vedic speculative knowledge is certainly not pure devotional service. Therefore, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati in his Anubhyasya preaches that self-realization following the execution of ritualistic ceremonies is in the neutral stage between liberation and conditioned life. It is a place beyond this material world. In the river Viraja, where the three modes of material nature are subdued or neutralized in an unmanifest stage. However, the spiritual world is a manifestation of spiritual energy and is known as Vaikuntha Loka, the place where there is no anxiety. The material world known as Brahmanda is the creation of the external energy between the two creations, the material creation and the spiritual creation. It is a river known as Viraja as well as a place known as Brahmaloka. Viraja Nadi and Brahmaloka are shelters for the living entities disgusted with the material life and inclined to impersonal existence by the way of denying material variegatedness. Since these places are not situated in the Vaikuntha Lokas or the spiritual world, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proclaims them to be the external. In the Brahmaloka and Viraja Nadi, one cannot conceive of the Vaikuntha Lokas. Brahmaloka and Viraja Nadi are also attained after difficult austerities. But in these realms, there is no understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his transcendental loving service. Without such spiritual knowledge, simple detachment from material conditions is but another side of material existence. From the spiritual point of view, it is all external. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected this proposal, Ramananda Raya suggested that devotional service based on philosophy and logic is more advanced position. He therefore quoted the following verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhuji, please explain Chera Prabhuji, Viraja Nadi enti adi naku I have always been confused. Why is that we cannot see Brahmaloka and Brahmanda Loka from that? Is it an elevated place than the material plane, Prabhuji?
విరజా నది అవతలని అన్ని కూడా స్పిరిచువల్ వరల్డ్స్. విరజా నది నుండి అన్ని కూడా కృష్ణాస్ క్రియేషన్. దట్ ఈస్ ద డిస్టింక్షన్. దట్ ఈస్ ద డిస్టింక్షన్ బిట్వీన్ స్పిరిచువల్ అండ్ మెటీరియల్ వరల్డ్ అవుతుంది. విరజా రివర్ అంటే మీరు ఒక చిన్న ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్తాను. మీరు ఒక మూవీ ఉంటుంది మాతాజీ, యాక్చువల్లీ నైస్ మూవీ, సోషల్ మెసేజ్ ఉన్నది. అపరిచితుడు నాకు మూవీ ఉంటుంది, చూసారు ఎప్పుడైనా? సో అతను విరజా నది తర్వాత గరుడ పురాణంలో ఉన్న శిక్షలు వేయడం, అది కొత్త కాన్సెప్ట్ ఈస్ గుడ్. బట్ విరజా నది అనేది ఇట్స్ ఏ డిస్టింక్షన్ బిట్వీన్ స్పిరిచువల్ అండ్ మెటీరియల్ వరల్డ్స్. అది కూడా అది ఏ సోల్ వెన్ ట్రావెల్స్ టు ఫ్రమ్ మెటీరియల్ వరల్డ్ టు స్పిరిచువల్ వరల్డ్, ఇట్ హ్యాస్ టు ట్రావెల్ టు దట్ దిస్ ప్లేస్ విరజా నది దాటుతూ వెళ్తూ అట్లా స్పిరిచువల్ వరల్డ్ వెళ్తాం అన్నమాట. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద డిఫరెన్స్. Is a river known as Viraja as well as a place known as Brahmaloka. Viraja Nadi and Brahmaloka are shelters for living in disgusted with material life. And Viraja Nadi ivutala anni kuda conditioned state of life. Viraja Nadi avutala no condition. And the spiritual world, no janma mrityu jara vyadi, ఆల్ పర్ఫెక్టెడ్ లైఫ్, స్పిరిచువల్ లైఫ్, నో బాడీ, మెటీరియల్ బాడీ ఉండదు, ఈ ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఉండవు.
Okay.
దట్స్ అ థింగ్. ఇక్కడ రాసిన బ్రహ్మలోక and Virajana, they are also attained after difficult austerity. But in these realms, there is no understanding of the Supreme Personality. Devotee atla problem endante still they have materialistic motives to live long, to have some enjoy material things. And is transcendental love. Is ledani cheptunnaru. Okay, there is no understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is transcendental loving service. Only Vaikuntha planets, in the topmost planet Golok Vrindavana, akkada loving devotional service untadi. Adi eternal ga untadi annamata. So idanతా కూడా until this point condition like ఉంది.
Okay, Prabhuji, starting of the verse వెళ్ళండి Prabhuji, just translation starting వెళ్ళండి ఒక్కసారి. ఇక్కడ ఇక్కడ ఉంది Prabhuji, చూడండి ఇక్కడ. ఇది 3 modes of material nature. It's a place beyond this material world in the river Virja where the 3 modes of material nature are subdued or neutralized in unmanifest stage. అంటే Prabhuji
అక్కడ నుంచి సో అన్మానిఫెస్టెడ్ స్టేజ్ 3 modes ఆఫ్ మెటీరియల్ నుంచి. సో దట్ మీన్స్ మన భగవంతుని క్రియేషన్ లో ఇవి మనం చదువుతున్నాం కదా, భక్తి వైభవం చూసాం కదా.
అవును, అది చదివాం. అవును. How it is created, I have idea. అదే అహంకారం నుంచి హౌస్
ఇంగ్రీడియంట్స్ ఒక లాగ్ ఉంటాయి. అక్కడ నుంచి విరజానది తర్వాత నుంచి వాటికి ఒక రూపం వస్తుంది అనమాట. 3 modes కి మిక్స్ అవుతూ డిఫరెంట్ ప్లాంటరీ సిస్టమ్స్ క్రియేట్ అవుతూ అట్లా. దానికంటే
can we safely say that there is a separate layer of Virajanadi layer? Like ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఒక 10 layers ఉన్నాయి కదా Prabhuji, అర్త్ పైన స్పిరిచువల్ వరల్డ్ కి వెళ్ళాలంటే. సో విరజానది కూడా ఒక లేయర్ అని అనుకోవచ్చా అండర్స్టాండింగ్ కి?
yes.
ఓకే Prabhuji, అర్థమైంది. సో విరజానది అవతల పక్క ఈ 3 modes of material nature are not manifest అన్నమాట, అంతే అవ్వలేదు ఇంకా. విరజానది నది యువతల పక్క where the material plane starts, then only these 3 modes started manifesting or started showing the its power.
Existing and రకరకాల ప్లాంట్ సిస్టమ్స్. మెటీరియల్ వరల్డ్ that's why distinction. నది విరజా రివర్ అంటున్నారు కదా, రివర్ అన్మానిఫెస్టెడ్ స్టేట్మెంట్. బట్ రివర్ అవతల ఉన్న ప్లానెటరీ సిస్టమ్స్ అన్ని కూడా మేనిఫెస్ట్ అవుతాయి. 3 modes of material nature, రకరకాల ప్లానెటరీ సిస్టమ్స్, బ్రహ్మలోక, స్వర్గలోక, పాతాళలోక, డిఫరెంట్ క్రియేషన్స్ టేకెన్ ప్లేస్. బట్ బియాండ్ అక్కడ ఉండదు అన్మానిఫెస్టెడ్ స్టేట్ అని చెప్తున్నారు కదా, అన్మానిఫెస్టెడ్ స్టేజ్ వేర్ ద 3 modes of material nature are subdued and neutralized. అక్కడ సబ్డ్యూడ్, న్యూట్రలైజ్, ఇది అన్మానిఫెస్టెడ్ ఉండవు, ఒక కుప్పలా ఉంటది. బట్ మేనిఫెస్టెడ్ అంటే ఒక రూపం.
అంటే ఇన్యాక్టివ్ గా ఉంటాయి అనుకోండి Prabhuji, ఇన్యాక్టివ్ గా ఉంటాయి అనుకోవచ్చు మనం. ఓకే, యాక్టివ్ ఉండవు, యాక్టివ్ స్టేజ్ లో ఉండవు. ఓకే,
అట్లా. yes, correct.
ఓకే,
Thank you Mataji.
అర్థమైంది Prabhuji. Thank you Prabhuji.
Yes, now let us go to next verse. Lavanya, I can read. I think I am seeing Madhavi Mataji. Hare Krishna Samyukta Mataji, thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Madhavi Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
You are able to read? We are reading actually. I don't know. I mean, it's the first time we are seeing. Have you heard any time Chaitanya Charitamrita?
No Prabhuji.
Okay, but anyway, I can
Prabhuji,
read.
Mataji from Bhakti Shastri class Prabhuji.
Oh,
yeah, I am from Bhakti Shastri course Prabhuji.
Acha, ఎక్కడ నుండి కనెక్ట్ అయ్యారు మీరు?
ఇది భక్తి శాస్త్రి వర్కింగ్ గ్రూప్ లో జాయిన్ ఐడి ఇచ్చారు.
అదనట్లేదు, ఏ కాంగ్రిగేషన్ అంటున్నా మీరు? ఏ గ్రూప్ సత్సంగ్ ఎక్కడికి వెళ్తారు?
మహేష్ Prabhuji.
ఓకే, మహేష్ ప్రభు.
మై హోమ్ విహంగా.
వెరీ గుడ్, మై హోమ్ విహంగా. ఓకే, వెరీ నైస్. ఎనీవే, దిస్ ఈస్ ద వర్స్ ఫ్రమ్ Bhagavad Gita only. You can read. You can read. Yeah, read the Sloka also and then translation, purport also read. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you Prabhuji. బ్రహ్మభూత ప్రసన్నాత్మ నా సుచేతన కన్సెప్ట్ సమా సర్వేషు భూతేషు మద్భక్తిం లాభతే పరం.
Sloka and translation purport కూడా చదవండి.
Ramananda Raya continues, according to the Bhagavad Gita, one who is thus transcendently situated at once, realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Purport. In this verse from the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that a person who accepts the theory of monism, being always engaged in empiric philosophical discussions about spiritual life, becomes joyful and is relieved from all the material internation, lamentation, and hankering. At that stage, one is equipoised. He sees all living entities as spiritual beings. After attaining this elevated stage, one can attain pure devotional service. The conclusion is that devotional service mixed with ritualistic fruitive activity is inferior to spiritual service based on empiric philosophic discussion.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. This is where the pure devotees consciousness anamata. Brahmabhuta prasannatma nasochati nakamchati samasarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labate param. ఇది ఎక్కడ చెప్తున్నారంటే ఇది మేము చదివేది శ్రీ చైతన్య చరితామృత. ఇది ఆఫ్టర్ భగవద్ గీత ఇన్ అవర్ ఇస్కాన్ వి డూ దిస్ వన్. After Bhagavad Gita readings, after while Bhagavatam readings, we do this one also, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Since we are Brahma Madhya Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, this process of parampara and main acharya, actually Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a devotee, and he explained all the Vedic conclusions in such a easily manner, so that andaru manam practice chesukodaniki he has explained all these teachings. So this is a very important discussion between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. So అందులో వాళ్ళ డిస్కషన్స్ లో they were discussing about this verse. ఇది యాక్చువల్లీ ఇది భగవద్గీత వర్స్. ఓకే, భగవద్గీతలో ఉండే వర్స్ ఇది. వాళ్ళ మధ్యలో డిస్కషన్ వచ్చింది అనమాట. ఇన్ దట్ స్టేట్ ఈ అటైన్స్ ప్యూర్ డివోషనల్ సర్వీస్ అంటుంది. విచ్ స్టేట్? నో హ్యాంకరింగ్స్ అండ్ నో లామెంటేషన్ స్టేట్, బ్రహ్మభూత స్టేట్. One who is transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman, becomes fully joyful. ఇంకా ఆ సిచ్యువేషన్స్ లో there is no lamentation and there is no anchorings. They reach this is the advanced devotees consciousness. Okay, we are still struggling, we are still practicing. These are the teachings how a pure devotee is going to be. Actually, this is between Arjuna and Krishna's discussion. This is in I think 7th chapter. I forgot exactly which chapter. Brahma Uta Prasannatma from Bhagavad Gita. Actually, Madbhakte Labate Para means in that state, no hankering, no.
1854.
1864, yes. 1860.
54.
Yeah. Then after 65, Manmanabhava. Yes.
54. 1854.
54. Okay. 54 years. Thank you. So that state is very difficult to achieve. I mean, with the Krishna's mercy, pure devotees, constant devotional service, he bestowed that consciousness, the Brahmabhuta stage consciousness. Asochati, Kamshati. And that's the thing. Beautiful verse. Thank you for reading, Mataji. Samyukta Mataji, please go ahead.
Yes, Prabhuji. प्रभु काहे ये हो भाया आगे कहाँ आ रहा राया काहे ज्ञाना शून्य भक्ति साध्या सारा. Translation. After hearing this, the Lord as usual rejected it, considering it to be external devotional service. He again asked Ramananda Raya to speak further, and Ramananda Raya replied, pure devotional service without any touch of speculative knowledge is the essence of perfection.
Yeah, Mataji, continue.
But in his Anubhashya commentary, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura says that this age devotional service mixed with speculative knowledge is also external and not within the jurisdiction of pure devotional service as practiced in Vaikuntha Loka. As soon as there is some conception of materialistic thought, be it positive or negative, the service is not spiritual. It may be free from material contamination, But because there is mental speculation, the devotional service is not pure and freed from the contamination of material life. A living entity who wants to be completely pure must be above this material conception. The negation of material existence does not necessarily mean spiritual existence. After material existence is negated, spiritual existence, namely Satchidananda, still may not be manifested. Until one comes to the stage of actually understanding one's eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord, he cannot enter into spiritual life. Spiritual life means becoming detached from material life and engaging in the service of the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore asked Ramananda Raya to explain something transcendental to devotional service mixed with speculative knowledge. A pure devotee is completely surrendered to the lotus feet of the Lord, and only by his love does he conquer Krishna, who cannot be conquered by anyone. Krishna always stands victorious over everything. No one can conquer him. One can attain the stage of pure devotion simply by fully surrendering. This is next corroborated by Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.3, wherein Lord Brahma, defeated by the potency of Sri Krishna, fully surrendered unto the Lord. Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare.
Prabhuji.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. What is that verse? Jnane prayasam udapasya Jnane prayasam udapasya namanta eva jivanti sanmukharitam bhavadiya vartam sthane stita shutigatam tanuvan manobir ye prayaso jita jito pyasi tais trilokyam. What is saying? You read Mataji? Mana Samyukta Mataji, this translation.
Yes, Prabhuji. Those who, even while remaining situated in their established social positions, throw away the process of speculative knowledge and with their body, words, and mind offer all respects to descriptions of your personality and activities, dedicating their lives to these narrations, which are vibrated by you personally and by your pure devotees, certainly conquer your lordship, although you are otherwise unconquerable by anyone within the three worlds. Hare Krishna.
Very well. So with only pure love, pure devotional love only, we can be able to conquer supreme love. Krishna, that means Krishna is going to sold by himself through pure devotional life, pure devotional service. He will actually one way, he will give everything. He will surrender to a devotee. That's the thing. And it's a very highest thing. Complete pure devotional service. Best example we see in the Vrindavan pastimes, these gopis and gopas, they are completely in that mode of it's highest form, Madhurya Rasa. So that's where they have possessed Krishna, and Krishna also sold to them. That's the thing. Very nice verse. Their mind, their body, their words, offer all respects to descriptions of personality of Godhead, dedicating their lives to these narrations, which are vibrated by you personally, and your pure devotee certainly conquer your lordship, although you are otherwise unconquerable by anyone within the three worlds. Only pure devotional love, with love only, we can purchase Krishna. How can we purchase Krishna? With pure devotional love. Yes, a nice verse actually. Actually, these are the highest revelations between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Raya. Actually, this chapter we need to repeatedly read. Very, very nice verses from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, in their discussions coming up. So this is also from Bhagavatam, it seems. I think this one we just read, na? I think Jnane. Yeah. But Lavanya, you do this again. Different
Hare
tune.
Krishna. Text 67. ज्ञाने प्रयासमुदपास्य नमन्त एव जीवन्ति षण्मुखरितां भवदीयवार्तां स्थाने स्थिता श्रुतिगतां तनुवान् मनोभिर् ये प्रयासोजितजितोऽप्यसितैस्त्रिलोक्यम्. Translation. Ramananda Rai continued. Lord Brahma said, "My dear Lord, those devotees who have thrown away the impersonal conception of the absolute truth and have therefore abandoned discussing empirical philosophical truth should hear from self-realized devotees about your holy name, form, pastimes, and qualities. They should completely follow the principles of devotional service and remain free from illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, and animal slaughter. Surrendering themselves fully with the body, words, and mind, they can live in any ashrama or social status. Indeed, you are conquered by such persons, although you are always unconquerable. Text
Thank you,
68.
Ron. You can do one more verse, and I will do one more verse, and we will go to these Bhakti Shastri slokas. I think this is a big one. It's a big one. You do translation and purport first paragraph. Okay, I will continue, not complete this.
प्रभु कहे हो यहाँ ये हो हाया आगे कहाँ आरा राया कहे प्रेमा भक्ति सर्व साध्य सारा. Translation. At this point, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "This is all right, but still you can speak more on the subject." Ramananda Raya then replied, "Ecstatic love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the essence of all perfection." Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Purport. In his Amrita Pravaha Bhashya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Tagore summarizes the conversation up to this point, where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says to Ramananda Rai, "Eho haya aage kaha ara." This is the process accepted in devotional service. But there is something more than this. Therefore, please explain what is beyond. Simply executing the duties of all varnas and ashramas is not good as offering all the results of one's activities to the Lord. When one gives up all fruitive activities and fully surrenders unto the Lord, he attains Swadharma Tyaga. Therefore, he abandons the social order and takes to the renounce order. That is certainly better. However, better than the renounce order is cultivation of knowledge mixed with devotional service. Yet all these activities are external to the activities of the spiritual world. There is no touch of pure devotional service in them. Pure devotional service cannot be attained by empirical philosophy, nor can perfection be attained simply by good association. Devotional service by self-realization is a different subject matter. It is untouched by fruitive activity. For one surrenders the results of activities to the Lord, abandons prescribed duties, and accepts the renounced order of life. Such devotional service is situated on the higher platform than that of empirical philosophical speculation with a mixture of bhakti. This is verified by Srila Rupa Goswami in this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. 1.1.11.
Yeah, I will continue.
Yeah,
I will
continue.
continue. Yeah, I will fix it. I will read it. And these devotees join, Bhakti Shastri devotees join, let them recite their slokas. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.1. अन्याभिलाषिता शून्यं ज्ञानकर्माद्यनावृतम् अनुकूल्येन कृष्णानुशीलनं भक्तिरुत्तमा. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord favorably without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. This is this definition of pure devotional service given by Rupa Goswami. This is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Since Bhakti Shastri devotees, you already gonna read Bhakti Rasamrita, nectar of devotion. So you read in very detail in that nectar of devotion. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmadyanavrutam anukulyena krishnanushiranam bhaktiruttama. So there is no material motives, basically. Completely unmotivated and uninterrupted and selfless devotion and service. No selfish motives. Devotional activities, however, sometimes appear to be impure in the neophyte stage, but in the mature stage, they are completely pure or free from material activity. Therefore, Ramananda Raya replied, after hearing the last statement, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prema Bhakti, Sarva Sadhya Sara. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually accepted this verse, Jnane Prayasam, as a basic principle of perfection. One has to practice this principle in order to make further progress. When further progress is actually made, one comes to the platform of ecstatic loving service to the Lord. This first stage is technically called sadhana bhakti, or a devotional service in practice. The result of sadhana bhakti must be ecstatic love, attachment for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is also called prema bhakti. In the neophyte stage, sadhana bhakti includes faith, association with devotees, and practicing devotional service. Thus, one is freed from all unwanted things. One then becomes fixed in devotional service and increase is the desire to act in devotional service. Thus, one becomes attached to the Lord and is devotional service. There are 9 stages of devotional service. Ata, Sadhu, Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Asakti, Nishtha, yeah, Asakti,
Ruchi Bhava Prema.
Ruchi, Bhava, Prema. So that's the thing. The scientific process, Bhakti Yoga is a scientific process, not a speculative or not a theory process. No. Prabhupada writes in his purports, devotion, no. Bhakti means only devotion, no. Bhakti means with activity. That's why it's called Bhakti Yoga. That's why it's called devotional service. Devotion with service. That's the thing. We'll stop here. Thank you so much for all of you joining today. So welcome to this Bhakti Shastri second batch devotees. Lakshmikant Prabhu, Madhavi Mataji, thank you for joining. And somebody joined, Himanshu, and someone you already left anyway. You all recite Bhakti Shastri slokas because you all have exam this week. This Saturday. When is that exam, Mataji?
Saturday, Prabhu.
Saturday. Okay. No problem. So you all next week practice and yes, Bhakti Shastri memorization. I'm just sharing, okay? First 2 devotees, you all practice now, Samyukta Mataji, Sandhya Mataji. All the 6 slokas, you all, both of you, practice with, actually, నలుగురు ఉన్నారు కదా మీరందరూ కూడా ఒక్కొక్క శ్లోకం చేస్తూ ట్రాన్స్లేషన్ కూడా చేయండి. దట్స్ వేర్ యువర్ ప్రాక్టీస్ గోయింగ్ టు బి సాలిడ్. మీరు చేయండి సంధ్య మాతది సంయుక్త మాతది. Go ahead.
वाचो वेगं मनसक्रोधवेगं जिह्वा वेगम् उदरोपस्थवेगम् एतान् वेगान्योपविशहेत धीरा सर्वामपि मां पृथ्वीं सशिष्यत्. Translation: a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals, qualified to make disciples all over the world. अत्याहार प्रयासश्च प्रजल्पो नियमाग्रहः जनसङ्गश्च लौल्यं च षड्भिर्भक्तिर्विनश्यति. Translation: one's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required, over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters, practicing the scripture rules and regulation only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically, associating with the worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness, being greedy for mundane achievements. उत्साह निश्चय धैर्यात् ततत्कर्म प्रवर्तनात् संगत्यागात् सतो वृत्ते षड्भिर्भक्ति प्रसिद्ध्यति. Translation: there are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service: being enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence, being patient, acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna, abandoning the association of non-devotees, and following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति गुह्यमाख्यति पृच्छति भुङ्क्ते भोजयति चैव सद्विदं प्रीतिलक्षणम्. Translation: offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasada, and offering prasada are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee to another. Ishopanishad invocation. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Translation: the personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because he is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जिता मा कृतः कस्य स्विद्दनम्. Translation: everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowingly well to whom they belong.
Jai. Thank you, Sandhya Mataji. Next,
Thank you so much.
Abhita Mataji. Please begin.
Yes, Prabhuji. वाचो वेगं मनसा क्रोधवेगं जिह्वा वेगमुदरोपस्थवेगम् एतान् वेगान्यो विषहेत धीरा सर्वामपि मां पृथ्वीं सशिष्यात्. Translation: a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. अत्याहारप्रयासश्च प्रजल्पो नियमाग्रह जनसङ्गश्च लौल्यं च षड्भिर्भक्तिर्विनश्यति. Translation: one's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required, over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically, associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness, and being greedy by mundane achievements. उत्साहा निश्चया धैर्यात् तत्तत् कर्म प्रवर्तनात् संगत्यागात् सतो वृत्तिर् षड्भिर्भक्ति प्रसिद्ध्यति. Translation: there are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service: being enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence, being patient, acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna, abandoning the association of non-devotees, and following in the footsteps of previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. Dadati pratigruhnati guhyamakhyaati pritchati bhunte bhojayate chaiva shadvidham priti lakshanam. Translation: offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasada, and offering prasada are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. Ishopanishad invocation. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Mudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Translation: the personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because he is complete perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because he is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जिता मा गृडा कस्य स्विद्धनम्. Translation: everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things knowing well to whom they belong. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji, Samyukta Mataji. Madhavi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, you practice, Mataji, just like, what is it? With translation. Let me see, some devotees join. Himansh Prabhu, Hare Krishna, thank you for joining. Meenu Mataji, thank you for joining. Surabhi Mataji, thank you so much for joining. So you also like that quickly chayandi, Mirandaru, okay, for yourself. Practice nicely. Nice. Madhavi Mataji chayandi.
Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jihva vegam udarapastha vegam eta vegam yo vishayeta dhiraha sarvam abhimam buddhim chatishyat. Translation. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genital is qualified to make disciples all over the world.
Continue.
Atyahara prayasya rajalpo niyamagraha janasanghacha laulyam cha chatte bhaktir vinashyati. Translation. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following six activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required, over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matter, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scripture and working independently or whimsically. Associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness and being greedy for mundane achievements. Hare Krishna. Next one. Utsaha Nishchaya Dhairya Tat Tat Karma Pravartana Sangatyaga Tato Vidya Shadhir Bhakti Prasiddhyati. Translation. There are six principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service: being enthusiastic, endeavoring with conduct, being patient, acting according to regulative rules, such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smarnam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna, abandoning the association of non-devotees, and following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These six principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. Dadati प्रतिगृह्णति गुह्यं मध्यति पृच्छति भूमिते पूजयत चैव षड्विधं प्रीतिलक्षणम्. Translation. Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasada, and offering prasada are the six symptoms of the love shared by one devotee and another. Isho invocation. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Translation. The personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because He is completely perfect, all emanations from Him, such as this phenomenal force, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because He is a complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from Him, He remains the complete value. First to Isha. ईशावास्यम् इदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यं जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जिता मा घृतः खच्चस्य धनम्. Translation. Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for which are set aside as his quota,
Thank you, Madhavi Mataji. Very good.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
So now next, who likes to do? Lakshmi Kant Prabhu.
I can do it.
Who is the Surabhi Mata? Hare Krishna. You can do Mata.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandatam.
Oh, no,
Can I start, Prabhuji?
Yeah, you can start all the 6 verses.
Okay. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jivva vegam udharopastha vegam etan vegan yo vishaheta dhira sarvam apimam prithvim sashishayat. Translation: a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the action of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. अत्यहारा प्रयास च प्रजल्पो नियमग्रह जनसंगश्च लौल्यं च षड्भिर्भक्तिर्विनश्यति. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required, endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically, associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness, and being greedy for mundane achievements. उत्साह निश्चा धैर्य तत्तत् कर्मा प्रवर्तनात् संगत्याग सतोव्रते षड्भिर भक्ति प्रसिद्धयति. There are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. Number 1, being enthusiastic. 2, enduring with confidence. 3, being patient. 4, acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. Abandoning the association of non-devotees and following the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service.
Thank you, Madhavi. One thing, prasiddhyati, okay? The last line of the other. Adi
Sadhir Bhakti Prasidhyati.
Prasidhyati. Yes, thank you. Into next verse.
Dadati pratigrahanti guhyam akhyati praschati bhungte bhojate chaeva shadvidam priti lakshanam. Translation: offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasada and offering prasada are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another.
Surabhi Mataji, the first line kuda dadati prati grihan. Manamu, we have to see one letter in the if word is, that's a technique, okay? Whatever words little bit big na, we have to see each letter and try to pronounce nicely. You know, dadati prati grihnati.
Dadati prati grihanati.
Like that. Okay. So you will get it. Thank you, Mataji. Not sure connection. Yeah.
Prabhuji, let me just say it once. Dadati pratigrahanati.
Pratigrahanati. G-R-H.
Grahanati. Grahanati.
Yeah, Grihnati. Gruham. In Sanskrit, Gruha means house. Griha, there is a, like that.
Dadati pratigrahanati. Okay. Ishopnishad invocation. Om Purnam Madam Purnam Hidam Purnat Purnam Udachayate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Translation: the personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because he is a complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains a complete balance. Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatam Jagat Tena Tayaktena Bunjita Magrida Kashyas Vidhanam. Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Very nice. Thank you, Sharavina. Whoever likes to do next, who likes to do? Lakshmikant Prabhu, are you able to see screen now?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Please do.
Yeah, Prabhu. Next of instruction. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jivo Vegam, Udaro Vegam, Etam Vegam, Yo Veganta Dhiraha. Sarvam, Prabhuji, unable to visit. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
Prabhu Chepani.
Yeah, can you just zoom it, Prabhuji?
No,
Sloka.
yeah, అట్లనే ఉంది ప్రభుజీ అందరు not sure. I have shared the screen.
Acha, okay.
మీరు
Yeah, Prabhu.
మొబైల్ ఫోన్లలో జూమ్ అట్లా
Yeah, mobile में, Prabhuji. हाँ. Yeah, sarvam apimam paritivyam sa sisya. Translation: a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind demands the action of anger and urges of the tongue, belly and genital, is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Hare Krishna. Yeah. NOI 2 Atyahara Prayasascha Prajalpo Niyama Graha Jana Sanghasa Cha Laulyam Cha Sabdhir Bhaktir Vanishyati. And translation: one's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. Number 1, eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. Over enduring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. Talking unnecessarily about mundane subjects matters. Fourth, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. Fifth, association with worldly minded person who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And sixth, being greedy for mundane achievements. NOI 3 Utsahan Nishyad Dhairyat Tat karma pravartanat संघत्यात सतो वर्ते sabdhir bhaktir prasidhyati. Translation: there are 6 principles favorable to the execution of a pure devotional service. Number 1, being enthusiastic. Second, endeavor with the confidence. Third, being patient. Fourth, acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. And fifth, abandoning the association of a non-devotee. And sixth, the following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. The 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional services. Fourth, NY, fourth, Dadati Pratigrahanati Guyam Akhyati Prachati Bhunkte Bhojyate Chaiva Vidam Priti Lakshanam. And translation, offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidently, and accepting prasada and offering prasada are 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. Verse to second verse, Isho invocation. Om Purna Adha Purnam Idam Purna Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adhaya Purnam Ivasyate. Translation: the personality of a Godhead is perfect and complete, and because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is all complete in itself, because he is a complete whole. Even though so many complete unit emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. A verse to Isho 1 is Isavasyam idam savam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tatyena
Hare Krishna. Viraj Prabhuji, can you recite so that Prabhuji can repeat after
So
you?
actually that idea వచ్చింది. ఇప్పుడు వీళ్ళు సంయుక్త మాతాజీ సంధ్యా మాతాజీ ఉన్నారు కదా, they can print their voice print in their group. It's better them to repeat. Samyukta Mataji, Sandhya Mataji, one request, all of these verses, 6 verses.
ఆ గ్రూప్ లో కూడా పోస్ట్ చేయొచ్చు.
మీ గ్రూప్ లో శ్లోక recitation పెట్టండి మాతాజీ. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, that's where devotees, they can habituated to hear repeatedly, and this sloka will come. Since you are both of you since last 1.5 year in the sloka recitation call and this call, so you are better, since you are part of that group, better you do, both of you do, and send in that group. Okay.
Yes,
It's okay. I mean, let him recite whatever. Lakshmikant Prabhu, please go ahead.
Sorry, Prabhu, taking a long time.
No,
really
why sorry,
apologize.
Prabhu? That's where,
Yeah.
we are.
నాట్ లాంగ్ టైం ప్రభుజీ, కరెక్ట్ గా చెప్తారు కదా అని
Yeah, we need that.
మీరు చేస్తే మిగతా వాళ్ళు కూడా వింటారు కదా. యా, మీరు చేయండి ఒకసారి.
Exactly.
వస్తాయి, అన్ని వస్తాయి ప్రభు. కొంచెం వీళ్ళు పెడతారు సంయుక్త మాతాజీ, సంధ్యా మాతాజీ, దే ఆర్ practicing different verses in this group, in this call. Every other we learn different verses probably, so they are better. They will say the sloka recitation.
Thank you Prabhuji and Mataji, thank you so much.
మీరు మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి చేయండి ప్రభు, whatever you know, and read the translation. No problem.
Isa vasyam idam savam yat niksha yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tatyatena bhunjitha ma gradhaha kashya svid dhananam. Translation: everything animates or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong.
Jai Lakshmikant Prabhu ki jai.
Thank you Prabhuji, thank you. Hare Krishna.
No, it's okay Prabhuji. I mean, ఒక రోజులో మనం ఎవరైనా పర్ఫెక్ట్ కాలేం ప్రభుజీ. ప్రాక్టీస్. Yes, but your humility humbleness, you tried. That's where Krishna looks at. That's simple. Okay,
Hari,
bro. Hari, bro. Thank you so much.
Vachu. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Hari, bro. ఇంకెవరు ఉన్నారు? హరే కృష్ణ, లెట్ మీ సీ.
ప్రభుజీ నన్ను చేయమంటే చేస్తాను, లేకపోతే తర్వాత కూడా
ఈ వీళ్ళు భక్తి శాస్త్రి డివోటీస్
Okay, sure.
ఒకసారి ఇంకెవరున్నారు? లెట్ మీ సీ. తులసి మాతాజీ, హరే కృష్ణ. దండవత్ ప్రణామ్.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam.
How are you, Mataji? How is everything?
Yeah, everything is going fine, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
yes.
How are you, Prabhuji?
Yeah. You reside? You want to reside?
No, I did not. I will try, Prabhuji.
You try? You want to reside for the all these
Yeah,
6?
I'll try to recite, Prabhuji.
Click chain.
Yeah. Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam jihva vegam udaropasta vegam etan vegan yo vishaheta dira sarvam apimam prudhvim sasishyat. Translation: a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the action of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Next one, Prabhuji. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha laulyamsha shadbir bhaktir vinashyati. Translation: one's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. Second, over-endeavoring the mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. Third, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. Fourth, practicing the spiritual rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of scriptures and working independently or whimsically. Fifth, associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And sixth, being greedy for mundane achievements. Utsahan nischayat dhairyat tat karma pravartante sangatyago sato sangatyagat sato vritte shadbir bhaktir prasidhyati. Translation: there are 6 principles of favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. 1. Being enthusiastic. 2. Endeavoring with confidence. 3. Being patient. 4. Acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. 5. Abandoning the association of non-devotees. And 6. Following in the footsteps of previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. Dadati pratigrahanati guhyamakyati prithyati bhungte bojayante chaiva shadvidam priti lakshanam. Translation: offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasada, and offering prasada are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. Invocation. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Translation: the personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because he is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्चा जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीता मा घृदा कश्यस्विद्धनम्. Translation: everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavad.
Very much. Thank you very much, Mataji. What about Raja Ramesh Prabhu? He also joined the Bhakti Shastri?
No, he went to center, Bhakti Center Prabhuji for this leadership program.
Acha. I mean, I'm asking about Bhakti Shastri.
Yeah, he is also writing. He is also writing.
It's okay. You can ask him to come tomorrow in the car.
Yeah. From tomorrow he will join Prabhuji.
Yes, sir. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Now, Sapan Prabhu, translate only Sloka lecture.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Vacho vegam manasakrodha vegam jihva vegam udaropastha vegam etan veganyo vishaheta dhira sarvam api mam prithvim sashishyat atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha laulyam cha shadabhir bhakti vinashyati. उत्साहान्निश्चया धैर्यात् तत्तत् कर्मा प्रवर्तनात् संगत्यागात् ततो वृत्ते षडभिर्भक्ति प्रसिद्ध्यति ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति गुह्यम् आख्याति पृच्छति भुङ्क्ते भोज्यते चैव षड्विधं प्रीतिलक्षणम् ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णम् उदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णम् एवावशिष्यते ईशावास्यम् इदं सर्वं यत्किञ्चित् जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जिता मा गृधा कश्यस्वित् धनम्.
Perfect. Thank you, Prabhuji. Sapan Prabhu. Lavanya, you want to recite?
Is it time? Is it okay?
Okay. మీరు చేయండి తర్వాత నేను కూడా చేస్తా wrap up చేద్దాం.
Only
They will
shlokas.
click here, no? They will hear devotees. Okay. Do it quickly.
Yeah.
Only
Next
Sloka.
of
Okay.
only shlokas. Next of instruction, first one. वाचो वेगं मनसा क्रोधवेगं जिह्वा वेगं उदरोपस्थवेगं एतान् वेगान् यो विषहेत धीरा सर्वमपि मां पृथ्वीं सशिष्यात् अत्याहार प्रयासश्च प्रजल्पो नियमाग्रह जनसङ्गस्य लौल्यं च षड्भिर्भक्तिर्विनश्यति उत्साहान्निश्चयात् धैर्यात् तत्तत् कर्मा प्रवर्तनात् सङ्गत्यागात् सतो वृत्ते षड्भिर्भक्ति प्रसीद्यति ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति गुह्यम् आख्यति पृच्छति भुङ्क्ते भोजयते चैव षड्विधं प्रीतिलक्षणम्. ईशोपनिषद इन्वोकेशन. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ईशोपनिषद फर्स्ट वर्स. ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्चा जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीता मा गृढ कश्यस्वित् धनम्. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Lavanya. Let me do quickly. Only slokas for our repeated remembering. वाचो वेगं मनसा क्रोधवेगं जिह्वा वेगम् उदरोपस्थवेगम् एतान् वेगान् यो विषयेत धीरा सर्वमपि मां पृथ्वीं सशिष्यात्. Section 2. अत्याहार प्रयासश्च प्रजल्पो नियमाग्रह जनसङ्गश्च लौल्यं च षड्भिर्भक्तिर्विनश्यति. Section 3. उत्साहानिश्चया धैर्यात् तत्तत् कर्म प्रवर्तनात् संगत्यागात् सतवृत्ते षड्भिर्भक्तिर् प्रसिद्ध्यति. Section 4. ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति गुह्यमाख्याति पृच्छति भुङ्क्ते भोजयते चैव षड्विधं प्रीतिलक्षणम्. Ishopanishad invocation. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate. Ishopanishad, first verse. Ishavashamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magrida kashya svidhanam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you very much, Bhakti Shastri devotees, for joining. I wish you all the very best. Please continue joining next 4 days. Next 4 days, next 3 days, no? Saturday you have exam, correct? Okay. So please join next 3 days. Let us recite and remember. And
Thank you for your service,
reconnect.
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you
Hare
for
Krishna.
joining. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna. Vanam. Vanchakalpata rupescha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavata ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Bhagavatam Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Jai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari.